Anyway, we just watched Scooby-Doo with the live-action version from, what was that? What year was that?
2002.
2002?
Yep.
God, I was 3 years old.
Yep.
I thought it was earlier than that. That's so embarrassing.
Right?
I liked this when I was 12.
Did you though?
Oh, this is a double feature. I don't know, did I?
Yeah, we also have the second movie.
I have never known you to like this movie.
I think she didn't like it once I started watching it, like, religiously. But I don't know
say
that
there are parts about it that I like.
Yeah, Shelby's right. 2002. What's crazy is that this says that the second movie came out in 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
did you guys know that the woman who played Daphne and the man who played Fred got married?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they still married?
Yeah. Well, at the very least, they're still together. They were in a, like a dishwasher commercial, like, that I saw a couple months ago, and I was like, holy shit, they're old now. And by that I mean, like, 45. What's crazy is the difference in me personally in those 2 years, 2002 to 2004. Like, 2002, like, I mean, Shelby's probably right. I never liked the movie. Like, I wasn't like, this is a movie that I want to watch, but I would watch it if it was on, and there were things that I found funny. By 2004, I was like, absolutely not.
Well, you were 14. 12 to 14 are different. That's like a time.
That's what I'm saying. And also, I was always one of those kids, especially as I got older, where I was like, I want to be cool. This is extremely uncool.
That's true. This movie is not, like there are parts that I laugh at, but as far as, like, the proportionate things that you're supposed to laugh at, very few.
There is
few, I would say.
There's a lot of butt, fart, pee, and what's the other one?
Body?
Yeah, just general body jokes.
Yeah, I don't care about those.
Nah.
But otherwise, it's okay. A lot of, like, I don't know, like, stupid things, but also kind of cute things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said in the very beginning, this movie has so much heart. It's kind of insane. But then it kind of drops off and, like, loses that a little bit. I don't know.
Well, there's like a moment, Shelby was saying, about that midway point where the whole thing just kind of implodes.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as we start getting into those monster guys.
But it's like one moment. Like, at one moment, Velma is sitting in the cantina or whatever, talking about the Damon-ritis. And then literally, like, the second after that, it's like, all those monsters come out, and it's like, why now? Why not before? Why are they revealing themselves?
Because it's nighttime.
But, like, why not any other night?
I think that was only the second night they were there.
Oh, because they have the Damon-ritis also.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It just like, everything just hits the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were saying, the editing kind of gets, like, sketched there, and then the bizarre factor.
Yeah.
It really goes off the rails.
It does.
Yeah, the plan is a little crazy. The plan I never really paid attention to growing up, so...
No.
Okay, hang on. I want to preface by saying that I realized when we started watching this movie that this was the Scooby-Doo that I knew. Like, I feel like we watched the cartoon.
Oh, I watched the original cartoon from the 60s, 70s all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
I almost never did. So when I think of, like, the characters, these are the interpretations that I think of. Like, I hardly ever think about the original, you know, where they're, like, really flat and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting to me that, like, I guess the thing that I find really interesting is, like, we're now in Hollywood in a period of, like, near constant remakes. And there's a lot about this that I think is a really well done adaptation. A remake of an original content.
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, as far as that element of it goes.
Sorry, the plan. Okay, so Scrappy-Doo...
Scrappy-Doo gets dropped off in the middle of fucking nowhere and decides that he wants to murder all of humanity for that.
somehow finds this island.
This is what I didn't know as a child, what I didn't understand as a child, is that as a child I kind of just thought it was like all those souls were at stake, and like all those souls needed to return to those bodies. Yeah. But like rewatching it, I did not realize at the time that literally the idea was that Scrappy-Doo was going to set the world on fire. Like
cause an apocalypse.
A literal apocalypse.
Some pups just want to watch the world burn.
Scrappy-Doo just wants to watch the world burn.
I mean, he's already unhinged. Like in the flashback scene that we see at the beginning of the movie, which conveniently they place right before like everything goes crazy. Did you notice that?
It's not even at the beginning of the movie. It's like a full third of the way through.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I think it was you who said we needed this earlier. Like, why didn't we get this earlier?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It is.
I thought it was weird.
I agree.
No, yeah,
almost
I
like they
noticed
decided.
Yeah, almost like they didn't know until that very moment who the bad guy was going to be.
Kind of strange.
No, but I noticed what you're saying, Shelby, about that. How that flashback it's placed right before the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like immediately, but like we have that scene of of Velma getting drunk and being nostalgic with this strange man who has 3 lines and is apparently her love interest.
We're calling him Dude.
Oh, Dude. With Dude, who has 3 lines and is apparently her love interest.
Whose name we don't ever learn.
And then immediately afterwards, the monsters implode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what were you saying, Shelby?
I don't remember.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, Scrappy-Doo as a character. Unsettling as fuck. Like I don't want to be around him. He's scary. He's upsetting in the flashback scene.
Well, I think that's the point.
I know. It's just like I just don't understand him. Like what happened to this dog to make him like that?
I don't know.
I think it's just maybe is it just a joke about how the fact that like little dogs just always are barking at everything and like fighting about everything.
That's a good point. I was like assuming that it was some sort of like Napoleon complex for sure.
Yeah.
Also, he says scrote.
Yes.
And I only know that because of the subtitles, and I've never heard that, like, as a child.
No, and I didn't know what that meant, obviously, as a child. I was just like, God, this little dog keeps barking. It's really annoying.
Peeing on people!
Honestly, I'm so shocked that they got the word scrote into a child's movie. Is this a child's movie?
What is the rating?
So.
It is rated PG.
Parental guidance.
To explain, your parental needs to be around to explain what a scrote is.
Well, and Fred says biatch, and
he says biatch, but the subtitles say bitch.
Yeah. and Daphne says ass. Whooping ass. Also, the thing about this movie is that it didn't really age well.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, like, racist shit in it.
That's true, yeah.
It's, like, somewhat indirect. Like, all the stuff about voodoo and, like, all of the, like...
Like Santeria, like, islandy...
Yeah, like, indigenous stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously not indigenous, but you know what I'm saying.
Okay, wait, let's finish off the plan. So Scrappy-Doo goes to interview for a character at this island, kidnaps the owner, builds a robot that looks and functions exactly like a person that he can control, and he does this so that he can steal the souls of incoming college students, replace them with aliens, or creatures?
Yeah.
Magical ancient creatures.
Where do they even come from, though?
That was the speech with the holographic thing. That's what he was talking about.
I never listened.
I think it was like they were already in the island and then something happened to suppress them.
Well, what's interesting to me is, like, they are born from the moment that the rectoplasm gets put back into the body.
Rectoplasm?
They're born?
Protoplasm, yeah, you guys never noticed that? That's where they come from. They come from when the protoplasm is rejoined with the body, that's where the monsters come from.
We thought the monsters were possessing the bodies.
Yeah, and it just forced them out. Like, they got in the body, and then the rectoplasm goes down the throat, and then it's like exorcism. It, like, knocks them out.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I don't know. As a child, I always thought it was the way I said it, but I was a child, so you're probably right.
I think it's like they catch you, they breathe on you, it makes your protoplasm go out so they can get in. protoplasm.
But why were they dragging the bodies away? Why couldn't they just jump inside the bodies?
Yeah, I think it's that they breathe on you, which knocks you out, and then they drag you away, and then we never get to see them get inside the body because that would be rated R.
Terrifying.
So, and then when your protoplasm goes back inside your body, we are spending a lot of time.
Oh, maybe they use the pincer to pull out the protoplasm.
Oh yeah, that is probably how it is.
Oh fuck yeah, you're right. They use the pincer. But how do they get inside the bodies?
They just open up the mouth and walk in.
Oh my god! So the souls they extract. It's like twofold. One part is that they extract the souls so that the creatures can get inside the people so that they can walk around during the daylight, and they use the teacher lady video to educate them on how to be human, air quotes, and then they go out into the world. Okay, so then on the other side of it, they use the souls as an energy source to use the daemonitis to make
it so that the aliens super run the Earth.
Okay.
I think.
It's like the apocalypse key.
Yeah, but they use the souls as a power source, but they need the one pure soul for the ritual to be finalized.
Okay.
And somehow Scrappy-Doo just knows that Scooby-Doo is a pure soul. And specifically wants to exact his revenge upon it's that really it's that lovely contrivance where it's the villain could have gotten away with this if they had just picked literally any other dog, like Shelby said.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that the soul is perfect because it's a dog.
You picked the one crime-fighting dog.
Yes. But, it's the thing is that, the villain, it's their own... The villain's downfall is their own,
hubris.
Yes. Good God.
Alright, that was the plan.
Really, really convoluted and extremely contrived.
Extremely convoluted.
And, just overall absolutely ridiculous. First of all, where the fuck did he get the daemonitis? Second of all, how did he even learn about it? Fourth of all,
a lot of research.
I love how, Fred does this thing where he's, he reminds us that, they've never dealt with real monsters before. It's always just men in masks. But, they seem relatively unfazed about the fact that these are real monsters for once.
I was going to say that, too. And it doesn't, throw their worldview. At the end, they're oh, we're back to as a team. I'm this should be, life-changing for you.
Yeah.
In the sense that now you won't know if it's real monsters because you didn't ever think it was, and this time it was.
The cameramen show up and they're you guys are back together. What about this thingy in London? And they're we're a team. And I'm you guys should run for the fucking hills. Yeah, you survived this time, but that's because Scrappy fucking Doo is useless. Not because you guys are crime fighters. I mean, Bella is, or Daphne is. I always get them mixed up. Daphne is.
It's because they're not names that are used in real life.
Yeah.
Although I do like the name Daphne. I wish it wasn't so... I mean, I like Daphne as a character, but I also wish it was, a name that had a little bit more flexibility, because I like it, but...
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone named Daphne other than this character. Anyway, the writing... Shelby made a good point that, it's they switch writing in the middle. And I don't know what happened. There's... The beginning is, super solid.
It is.
And then it just goes off the rails.
I'm thinking about the nostalgia factor, and, every scene that I love from this movie that I think of when I think of this movie is before that crazy point. Is, everything, the setup, all of it's really cool. I love the idea of, all these college students and, the contrast between when they come and when they go. And, just all of the setup, I think, is really cool. Although I do love the Sugar Ray scene. I think I just like Sugar Ray. But other than that,
this was 3 years after Sugar Ray was really, really popular. So this was the beginning. Well, it was part of the decline of Sugar Ray.
No way, being in the Scooby-Doo movie is a part of the decline.
Oh, and then there was also that the sort of pop rocky cover of the Scooby-Doo theme song.
Yeah.
And I was if that had happened 3 years later, it would have been Bowling for Soup.
Oh my god!
Right.
Such a bummer. I don't know who it was, but...
Yeah.
Well, I know Simple Plan has one, but I don't think that was the Simple Plan one.
No, it's a different one.
Simple Plan has a Scooby-Doo cover?
Scooby-Doo-Doo, we're coming after you. We're
It's
gonna
the theme
solve
song
that
for...
mystery.
It's the theme song for a different cartoon remake of the Scooby-Doo series.
Of which there are like a dozen.
There's so many of them.
I feel like you're saying that like a little bit wrong. I think it should be Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? I've got some work to do now.
Coming after you.
Scooby-Doo, we need some help from you now. We know we got a mystery that's also Scooby-Doo. Get ready for it. Don't hold back.
Simple Plan. Oh my god. They had a song in this.
Yeah.
Growing up? No.
I don't wanna grow up.
Yeah. I don't wanna be told to grow up. And I'm not gonna change. I just wanna have fun. And then there was like another Scooby-Doo centric song that
It was David Bowie.
well, yeah, it borrowed lyrics from David Bowie. I was like, what in the
It
fuck
was
are
so
they listening
weird.
to?
Yeah. I was like, is this the labyrinth? What is happening?
Oh man.
But like the scene in the castle and like the brainwashing scene, like I love that. I love all of that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
That was
the
my favorite
revelation of the mystery, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait, there's no mystery, just monsters.
Yeah.
What's
and-
part. Well, that's the thing is that it's monsters, but also a cult. Like the monsters are in a cult.
Yeah, it is a little bit like a conglomeration of like a bunch of different ideas. Like they couldn't quite settle on one,
Yeah.
so they just kind of used them all.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they just wanted a lot more action for the second half.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say the parts. I feel like the parts that we're talking about where you're saying things kind of go crazy and editing is weird. It's like pretty much all action. It's like
Yeah.
once they wake up on the beach. I mean, before that you have all of the monsters like coming in the hotel, and that's all action for like a good 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they fall asleep on the beach, and then when they wake up, they split up, and then as soon as Sugar Ray is gone, it's just more action until the end.
Until Shaggy finds the rectoplasm heads.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. I
Fuck,
skipped a
what was
whole
I gonna
bunch.
say? I was gonna say something very important. Oh, what was the budget for this movie? Good God. Like, it must have been astronomical, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of CGI, but
There's so much CGI.
it's not like as bad as it would be nowadays, where everything is CGI.
No. Well, I'm just like, not only the CGI, but like there were some practical effects, and I'm sure those were like difficult. But like, even just the setting, like the buildings,
Mhm.
like the castle itself, must have been astronomical.
And there's a lot of extras in this movie too.
There's a lot of extras.
Yeah.
God.
I bet it was really high, but I bet you it made a profit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it did.
I agree.
There were some genuinely good jokes in this.
Yeah.
And you know what else is great about this movie? Is that the actors are actually really good.
Yeah.
Like the main actors.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really interesting is like, now looking at it from an adult perspective, if I was an adult when this movie was being made, I would have so much to say about it because they always do. But like, Freddie Prinze Jr., okay, as Fred, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, which is just, it's just an interesting choice. Like, she had done Buffy, so very action-oriented, but then she's supposed to be playing a character who's, like, just a ditz.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember when Legally Blonde came out, if, what's her name, Linda Cardinelli?
Sounds right.
The girl who plays Velma. She's in Legally Blonde. I'm pretty sure it was before this, because she looked a lot younger in that.
I think so. You know what else she was in?
What?
She's in an episode of Kenan and Kel.
Linda Cardellini. Really?
Yeah, it's a Halloween episode. They think she's a witch.
Is she?
I don't remember. But she's gorgeous in that.
And then Matthew Lillard. She's always gorgeous. Matthew Lillard, who, like, absolutely killed it as Shaggy.
So
Oh
good.
my God.
And before this, he was in Scream. Where he plays a murderer.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and, like, I'm trying to imagine, like, if I, like, before having seen it, if I was like, this is who's playing, I'd be like, what? Excuse you? But they all do really, really well.
No, they're phenomenal.
They all work
and
together.
they're like, they do a really great rendition of like the original character, but with like much more layers of depth.
Yes.
And also just the moments where they have to like switch and play the other characters
Mm-hmm.
are like
yeah.
so fun.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm sitting there like watching and I'm like, wow, they did a really good job of like like
Dubbing,
but I meant like they do these subconscious character things, like they are consistent with like establishing that like Velma stands with her hands behind her back very straight, and Fred points a lot, and Daphne has like this really like, I don't know, perky sort of thing, and you know, Shaggy is like super like laid back, obviously, and like it was really interesting to see this and like good to see the other actors like embodying the other characters, because they have like a really specific physicality that was established earlier on. It was really fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like Sarah Michelle Gellar in this. I've never seen Buffy, and I haven't really seen her in anything else either. But I think she's great.
I like her a lot in this, and actually, I think like the main thing for me, if we've knocked off a bunch of the other topics, is like characters and specifically like commentary in relation to like what the characters go through and their relationships, specifically like gender related.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of gender commentary in this movie.
Yeah,
that I love.
Yeah. And also, like their roles as a team. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of weird. Something that I don't know. Maybe I'm just the one maybe I'm the only person who feels this way, but, like, at the beginning, I just don't really feel like they're friends so much as just, like, a professional team, like, coworkers. Mm-hmm. And you know, I don't know if that's, like, they've been friends, but they've been doing this for so long that they burn out on their friendship or whatever. But I do really like how, like, they establish that, like, everybody has a role on the team, everybody's a hero, like, they work best when they're together, and I think that's really cool. That's the whole point.
But it's also interesting because all of them seem to be all of them except for Shaggy, who has no motivation, seem to be pretty successful on their own, too. So it's not like they're like, you guys are worthless if you're not working as a team. It's literally just that, like,
they like each other.
Yeah, and they enjoy working together, and they work effectively together.
That's a really good point. I like that a lot.
I have always kind of felt like Velma could just do it by herself, but I don't know. I see now why that may not work.
Velma is such a catch.
Yeah.
She's so gorgeous. Funny. She works at NASA. She's funny. Like, holy shit.
The thing with Velma for me is, like, that first moment when we see her trying to work by herself and she's talking to the man with the skull mask on, I'm like, my thought, I don't think I said it out loud, but my thought was, wow, you really know how to pick a Velma. Like, yes, this man with the skull mask is going to talk to you, for sure.
You can't even emote. You can't even tell if he was lying.
Yeah. The other thing that we don't need to talk about very extensively, but I just wanted to mention just for the record, is that Velma is at the very least bi as fuck, if not just straight up gay as fuck.
Woo!
She's so gay for Daphne.
I agree.
I also, I think that here's the thing about the kiss between Fred and Daphne. The movie would be exactly the same without it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, why did they include that? And also, I also appreciate that they did not focus on that throughout the movie. Like, it's not a movie about them coupling up with each other, which I think is cool. I mean, I guess there is romance with, like, Mary Jane and Dude, as we affectionately call him.
But Dude wasn't needed, right? Like,
he
was just so superfluous.
Yeah.
He was just a vessel to get the backstory on Scooby-Doo.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because we wouldn't be reminiscing about Scooby-Doo with anyone else on the team, because everybody else knows him.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
We do that all the time.
We could have, I guess we could we could have reminisced with Mary Jane, I guess. But I guess they just wanted it to be a Velma moment, which I appreciate. I love Velma.
More Velma moments is always good.
I think they also didn't want Velma and Shaggy to be a thing.
Yeah.
Which I think has not happened in the past, but, like, has been a
highly debated topic.
Yeah, or, like, a conclusion that some people have come to, and I'm like, I don't understand why.
So here's my thing. You know, I am always the person who's like, I don't like when everyone just assumes a thing and then ergo now it's canon.
Yeah.
So I don't like Fred and Daphne as a couple in general. I'm glad there wasn't focus on inter-team romance. Having said that,
The kiss comes the fuck out of nowhere because we haven't spent any time in this movie developing this, which is not to say that I wanted them to do that, but is like what you're saying. It's not even needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think even as a child, I remember thinking that. I was like, what is this? Why are we here? I think it might, I don't remember because I haven't seen the sequel in a very long time, but it might be set up for the sequel.
Oh.
Because I think they might be a thing in the sequel. Not sure.
How obnoxious.
Yeah.
The other reason that I hate the couple of them too is that I feel like it is assumed that because these two are the hot ones, they're together.
Exactly.
And that bothers me.
Exactly. Velma says you're just interested in swimsuit models or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Fred says, nerdy girls like you turn me on too.
Oh my god. I hate Fred.
Oh, yeah.
We just straight up,
he's the worst.
Like, when he got punched in the face, I was so happy. When he turned evil, I was like, this is much better. Fred is so obnoxious. He's just completely irredeemable in almost every single fucking way.
Kind of useless,
like,
honestly.
Of all the things that people add to the team, I'm not really sure what he adds.
Charisma.
That's it, yeah. Like, leadership in terms of, like, I'm the one who's willing to make decisions, even though there may not always be the best decisions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree. I'm not a huge fan of Fred because his arc seems to be like, learn that other people have feelings.
Yeah.
That is it. That's all. It's like, oh, how very typical for a straight white man.
Shaggy's arc is, remember to trust your dog's judgment.
Was it Shelby who was like, the climax of this movie, or was it you?
I said it. The climax of this movie is Shaggy reasoning with the dog.
He's all, I'm a sacrifice, dude. He's like, that's not good. You gotta go.
But when Scooby says, you don't trust me, I felt that.
Aww.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't trust anybody.
Aww.
Yeah, Shaggy was like, you gotta trust me, dog. And Scooby was like, why would I trust you if you don't trust me, bitch?
So much gender commentary in this movie that I really, really like. I wish Fred had more of a character arc or was just not in it at all. Love Daphne. Love Velma. Shaggy's like fine. I'm Shaggy, so I can't argue.
I mean, he's there for comedic relief, mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fine. I do like, like we were saying earlier, though, there is, like, a strange amount of parallels to Disney's Hercules. Like, there's the scene where the animal best friend, is trying to tell the hero that the girl he's with is no good for him, and he doesn't believe him, and then it turns out that he's right. And then there's also a talk of, like, what makes a true hero. There's also a vat of souls. What else? It's like, it's just kind of strange. It's a little uncanny. Shaggy's there for comedic relief, and I do kind of like he and Scooby are best friends, and they have, like, a miniature falling out. Would have been nice if they had more of a falling out to, like, actually, like, I think part of the problem is that there's so many main characters that it's hard to, like, come with a single through line of, like, theme.
Yeah.
Because everyone has their own struggles they're dealing with. Or not dealing with. So so what is Velma's thing? I mean, Velma, part of the problem, which I relate to so hard, is that the man on her team gets all the credit.
Yeah.
For all the hard work that she does.
Yeah.
I relate. And when I say that, I'm talking specifically about role-playing games.
Oh, man.
And, like, intelligence. Like, there's a lot that she figures out that Fred just couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie specifically calls him an idiot at one point. I mean, at the very least, it implies that he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Are you talking about the grandma moment?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great moment.
Although Mary Jane also falls for it.
This is
So.
the ugly broad.
Other than that, in some ways, hers is kind of a backstep. Like she kind of still ends up on this team with people who, like, I hope that they appreciate her, but, you know, it's almost like she doesn't really have that much development because she's already so great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
I feel like Velma's development might just be like standing up for her worth, arguably, which like she's kind of doing even at the beginning of the movie, but like her development might take place. Her development might take place like between the beginning of the movie and like the 2 years, and then we get to the next part where she's like.
I mean, she is the one who quits originally.
Yeah.
So to say like, you guys suck, I'm leaving, and I'm gonna go work at NASA. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think I could just be imagining it, but I felt like there was sort of a theme or an implication about like being able to be vulnerable with your friends and like trusting your friends. And I don't know. I mean, like, could we argue that maybe when they're in the haunted house and Velma is like, "Oh, I'm always picked last," do you guys think that's the first time she said that to him?
Probably.
Because if so, then I would say that's definitely character growth. Like, you can't, I mean, obviously it's shitty of Fred to act that way, but also, like, you have to be able to stand up for yourself. Otherwise, how will anyone ever learn what you need, right? So, like, definitely character growth in the sense that, like, I'm trying to tell you what I prioritize or, like, that I want to be prioritized, and that is how she gets, you know, what she needs, which is, like, validation or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think that's what I was trying to say, but you said it better.
Oh, thanks. And I also really like Daphne's storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I love Daphne.
Yeah.
I love just everything about Daphne. She's like, I refuse to be incompetent.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not.
At what point was it in the movie that Shelby said himbo and the bimbo?
When it was just Shaggy and Daphne left.
She was like, we gotta figure it out. They always figure it out. We gotta do it.
Then she like fell down, she was like in a pot, and then fell over, and then Shaggy goes, Timber!
I think, like, I definitely, as a child, okay, so here's something to know about me as a child. I had an inferiority complex, so don't make fun of me. It will make me feel inferior if you do that. I definitely, like, had really strict ideas about, like, types of girls and types of women and, like, the things that people would think about different types of women. So I was like, okay, I'm a Velma because I have glasses. And so I don't like Daphne because she's the pretty one or whatever. But, like, I love her, and I also love how they really didn't box her in at all. Like, she happens to be pretty, but she's also got, like, she's also a dork.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just a big, clumsy dork who's, like, really unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her being a damsel in distress really isn't about, like, not having spunk or being really, like...
Stupid? Because she's not stupid.
Yeah, like, not, like... I don't know. Why is Daphne always getting caught in the original?
I have no idea.
I don't think she is. I mean, I don't remember... I think that might be like a trope that they put on her specifically for this film, because I don't remember Daphne particularly getting like caught by the villain in the original cartoon. And it's been a very long time since I watched any of the episodes of the original cartoon, so I could be wrong about that. But I don't remember her specifically being the damsel in distress in that movie.
So she's very relatable in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she just wants to take care of herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and prove herself, too.
Yeah.
Because everyone underestimates her.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of why I like her. And it's not necessarily that, like, in real life people are like this, but I feel like it's a common character trope that, like, a pretty girl is happy to just be a pretty girl.
Yeah.
But I like that Daphne is like, no, but I actually want to do things, and I want to, like, help, and I want to, you know, prove my worth, and I don't care about that. I'm more focused on, like, beating this guy up, being like this luchador. Yeah. So, I feel like it's really relatable when, I think that's probably the biggest theme, I guess, is, like, feeling like you're stuck in a scripted box, but that's not who you are, and you want to be able to, and figuring out how to navigate, like, breaking out of that box, and being the person that you actually are.
Rather than people.
So what we're saying is that Scooby-Doo 2002 is about trans identity.
Oh my god! Wow!
I'm kidding. But I wish I wasn't. Yeah. I think it's also, like, highly relatable because, like you're saying, she's not a damsel through fault of her own. Right. It's just, like, it's sort of random. So, like, as women, you sort of navigate the world with the expectation that at some point something terrible will happen.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, you're still, like, that's still how you, like, navigate. And so it's always fun for me to see a woman become, like, physically capable and, like, be able to kick ass because it's, like, a feeling of safety. Like, she's like, fuck this. I'm not going to get captured by people pretending to be ghosts anymore. Now I will fight you.
I'm going to kick your ghost white ass.
And I will defeat this luchador.
Yeah. Which, like, is a phenomenal scene, I must say.
It is. Yeah. It's really impressive. It's, like, a lot goofier than Charlie's Angels, but, like, sort of in the same realm, you know?
Yeah. A lot goofier and, like, I would argue, like, less sexualized.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I mean, she's still in, like, this tiny dress and her boobs are, like, half out the whole movie, but, like, it's not as sexualized as Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. I also like, I like the, like, this is not deep at all. I like when Velma gets taken over by the alien and her appearance has changed. Like, she's not wearing her glasses and she's got, like, a lower V-neck top. I like it because it suggests that Velma chooses to dress the way that she does. I mean, like, obviously she does. She picks her own clothes. But, like, she chooses to dress that way because that's how she likes to look.
Yeah.
And she, you know, the alien is the one who's like, well, that's what you're supposed to look like. And she's like, no, this is how I like to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, well, and the I think the interesting thing about this movie that, like, you kind of don't notice because it's something that, like, I don't know how to preface this, but, like, there's a surprising lack of, like, literally just lines or, like, references to Velma being ugly or unattractive versus, or Daphne being particularly attractive or, like, desirable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a few lines here and there, but, like, significantly less than, I would argue, almost anything else in this, like, sort of, like, concept where it's, like, 2 women and 2 men, and one woman is, like, supposedly, like, attractive, and woman is, like, a nerdy girl. Yeah. Like, no one ever says, Velma, you're ugly, or, like, Velma, you got hot, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just is not brought up, because it's not necessary to the plot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, other than one moment that I can't remember very early on, this movie does a really good job of not pitting the women against each other.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really common thing, especially when characters are, like, those tropes and they're so different. For it to be like, oh, we don't like each other because of X, Y, and Z. I don't remember what that early moment was. There was one moment where Velma was kind of making fun of Daphne and then it flipped. But, other than that, yeah, it does a good job of, like, I'm always a big fan of, like, women supporting women.
I have a question. Do you think that this movie passes the Bechdel test? Because there's the scene with Velma and Daphne in that room when Daphne has gotten her rectoplasm, but it's not actually Daphne, it's Fred.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. So I'm like, I don't know, does that, that doesn't really count,
I don't think
does
that
it?
counts.
Do they have any other conversations with one another?
Just the 2 of them?
I don't think so.
Damn it.
They don't really interact solo together.
I think it would have pushed it over the edge in terms of gayness.
That's true.
The creators were like, no, we can't do this. Too much
Too
chemistry.
much. We already have a scene where Velma's tickling Daphne. It's just it's not going to happen.
Not gonna work.
That's a bummer. I wish it did.
Yeah. Seems like it should.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't think... I mean, I know that this is not how the Bechdel tests work, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, I don't think there's a scene where Fred and Shaggy get to talk one on, you know, it's usually in a group setting.
Yeah.
Which, again, is not an excuse. It still fails.
Yeah.
But,
actually, there's a lot of, like, there's a group settings, but there's also a lot of Shaggy and Daphne, Velma and Freddy.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, I'm like 90% sure is reversed from how the pairings work in the cartoon.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's usually Fred and Daphne and Velma and Shaggy.
Oh, yes. Wait, does anyone talk to Mary Jane?
No one talks to Mary Jane.
Except for Shaggy.
Yeah, no, like, it's like they don't even know she exists.
She's fucking boring.
Yeah,
God.
she is. Her actor's not good. You were right.
Her actress is terrible. And it's Isla Fisher. I feel like she's been in other things, but I don't know what, and I can't look it up. I love not being able to look stuff up.
Honestly, the only conversation really between men is Shaggy and Scooby. I guess Shaggy talks to that guy who's like inviting him to Spooky Town.
We don't go anywhere with spooky, creepy, or
scary as a title.
The name.
And then there's that butt stuff joke.
And then Scooby makes a butt stuff joke. I might have to cut this because I might be incorrect about it, and I hate being wrong, but I can't look it up. So I'm pretty sure James Gunn, who was the writer, is the same James Gunn who wrote, like, Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but I will say that, especially for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, in terms of, like, superhero movies, they have a lot of very good writing. It's both funny and, especially Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has a ton of heart. I actually think you guys would probably really like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even though it's a comic book movie, because there's a lot about, like, A, found family, but B, like, just general family, just, like, what is a family, who do you determine makes your family, and then, like, there's just, like, a lot of, like, family commentary. It's all very sweet and heartfelt. And, anyway, so it doesn't surprise me that there's, like, quite a bit of layers to this.
Layers.
Like, normally we would just be like, this is a stupid movie, or this is a good movie, but there's, like, quite a bit of, like, commentary and theme to discuss.
Yeah.
Probably because...
Especially considering it's a movie about a talking dog.
Yes, exactly. And how, like, one-dimensional the original is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was more commentary on, like, skepticism and the whole, like, are monsters real? No, they're not real. They've never been fucking real. But then this one time they are real.
Well, Velma does that a tiny bit. Remember when, like, the demons or monsters show up to the lounge area and they capture Fred and she, like, looks at him and she starts laughing.
Yeah.
And then she, like, grabs his face and is, like, trying to rip the mask off and it doesn't work. And she's like, oh, fuck. I'm fucked.
Yeah, I wish they took it a step further after that, but I guess there was already a lot going on, so I don't know how much more they could have put in here. But
and arguably, like, Scooby tries to warn everybody, and nobody listens to him.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's because he's a dog or because they don't think that monsters really exist, I don't know.
Great Dane who cried wolf.
Justice for the quote-unquote voodoo man.
Oh, yeah.
Justice for him.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
At first I was like, are they, like, maybe this is problematic of me, when he has that amazing line where he says to Daphne, purple is a fall color. And I was like, are they
it's the middle of May!
Are they trying to imply that he's gay? And then I was like, no, I don't want him to be, because I think it's even funnier if it's a straight man reading her from her fashion sense.
Yeah.
It's the middle of May! Purple is a fall color!
I don't think they're trying to imply anything. I think they're just like...
It's just a really funny line that doesn't really mean anything or have any, like, explanation.
It's just such a funny character, almost completely useless. Completely... He's, like, trying to perform this quote-unquote voodoo ritual on a dead chicken!
And he's like, yeah, I know, it's dead.
He doesn't even explain further.
Yeah.
He's like, you notice that when the head's cut off? What do you want? He's so funny. He's such a funny character for no reason.
Yeah, he's really good. He's funny. What does he say? I guess that was the wrong ingredient.
The giant explosion on the beach. And he just wants to be unbothered.
Yeah.
He just wants to be left alone.
He's like, the apocalypse is coming. Leave me be.
I got things to see and chickens to eat.
Dead chickens to hang from my roof.
Bad voodoo to practice. And by that I mean he's bad at voodoo.
it's an interesting, very strange piece of film that would never get made, at least in terms of, like, you know, remakes nowadays have to be so safe.
Yeah.
That it's like, you would never get away with subverting the original so much. I don't think.
Yeah, you really wouldn't.
Yeah.
The boomers would lose their minds.
I feel like Shelby made a comment when we first started about, like, Gen X. And I feel like for the scenes where they're, like, trying to talk cool because they taught the aliens to talk that way, I don't know why I keep calling them aliens, the creatures. I feel like they had boomers write those lines specifically.
Yeah.
So they could be extremely cringy, like,
Word.
on purpose. Because, word!
Is that like, so like, did Shaggy design those? Like, where the fuck did that come from?
What, wait, what do you mean?
The video to teach them how to speak?
How would Shaggy have done that?
I'm sorry, not Shaggy. Scrappy.
Oh. Yeah, I guess. I have no idea. Who? Why?
There's a lot of plot holes. I do have to say.
Especially around, like, Shaggy's, or Scrappy's, yeah, his whole plan, his way of, like, manifesting it and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I think, I love the concept, you know me. I love, like, we have to teach aliens how to be people. And I love the concept of it being, like, a 1950s instructional video about, like, puberty. But, unfortunately, the way it's done, it just dates it so much. You know, it's so like, oh, wow, this is clearly a product of the very early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
As they're saying, like, Liz Nizzle? Liz Nizzle.
Yeah.
It is really interesting.
Home dog.
I mean, interesting, but also not unexpected at all. That, like, all of that is, like, grossly, or, like, not even, misconstrued, AAVE.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of it is. Like, that's the whole joke. And I understand that's been a joke consistently, at least since, like, the 90s, I think. Like, and I see that in media literally all the time.
You need to explain that to me. I don't know what that means.
African American vernacular English.
Oh, okay.
Like, anytime that someone is making fun of someone for modern or hip speech, it's always AAVE, which is accurate. Like, that is accurate. A lot of things that we say that are, like, hip speech right now.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote hip speech right now. It comes straight from AAVE. And like, I don't know. I guess that's accurate, but it's always a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, pretty fucking bold for a movie that makes fun of voodoo consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, I feel like the tribal type stuff, quote unquote tribal stuff, is really vague. Probably because they were intending to avoid, like, critique for that. But, like, voodoo is a specific thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it is not the same thing as Santeria, and they are different, and they come from two different sides of the planet, parts of the planet.
And they're all, and like, voodoo's in, like, every scene in this movie. Like, there's, like, the voodoo bar, the voodoo man, the voodoo tiki house, or what, I don't know. Like, they say it all the time.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, that definitely does not age well.
Yeah.
The mocking of the AAVE and
But that's definitely not the only piece of media to do that.
No,
happens all the time.
Especially in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s. And I think by, like, the mid 2000s, it was so prevalent that it's like, is it a joke? It's like hipsters. It's like, is it even a joke anymore? Or is it just like, we've absorbed this as a culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, this is now ours, go away, we're gatekeeping. I don't know. Yeah, I think with the rise of, like, I really don't, we'll just go on a tangent where I yet again don't actually know what I'm talking about, but the rise of, like, Vanilla Ice, like, how do I describe this? Cultural colonization of hip-hop and rap by white people meant that joking about AAVE became, like, mainstream, because they think that they're joking about white people using AAVE. I think. I think that's what that was. Like, it's funny that they think that they sound cool, but the problem is that it's like riding on the back of like actual people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think it's like intended to mock people. Like, I don't think Eminem was really on the scene at this point, but you know, like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
You're a fool. You're an idiot.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, but like, what is it about that language that makes you an idiot? The fact that it comes from black people.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposedly uneducated, even though AAV has grammar structures.
Yeah.
Just like any other language. They just are different from quote-unquote regular English.
Yeah.
Like,
or white English, I guess.
Societally accepted English. But you know what I wanted, and I don't know, there was no way that they were going to fit this into the movie at all. But I want to watch the creatures inside the humans learning how to be humans.
Yes.
Like, the creatures in and of themselves are so funny and so dorky, and they just, like, hit each other upside the head, and they're just like, you're a dumbass! And then, like, crawling into human bodies, well, not that part necessarily, but, like, them, like, trying to like, learn how to be humans would be so funny to me.
And what's funny is that they really are bad at it. Like,
no, they're terrible at it.
Like, they just look like robots at some scenes.
And then other scenes are, like, strangely, like, bizarrely hostile.
Yeah.
What did she say? Are you, it's not hitting on me, it's something bizarre.
Tricking or something?
Tricking. Are you tricking on me?
And she, like, chucks him across the fucking board, across the deck. She picks him up and chucks him.
Whoa.
Like, get out of here, Brad!
What video told you to do that?
The video specifically told them not to do that. Maybe they, like, re-recorded a new video specifically after they were like, oh, these people are, these creatures are just throwing people.
What does he say? The first time he's like, I'll crush your bones into dust! Like,
that's how I feel when people bump into me.
I feel like that is a better way to go around the world. Screaming things like that. I think if everyone talked like a Norse god, we would all be a lot happier.
Funny.
Anyway, final thoughts about Scooby-Doo 2002?
Depending on how much footage we have, would I be able to convince you to watch the sequel specifically to finish this podcast? So that it's not like only half an hour long after editing.
I'm looking up the runtime.
I don't mean tonight. I just mean in general.
Oh, okay.
I am gonna say I really don't think so. Like, unless you choose it as one of your movies, because I think I remember it, and I did not like it at all.
I don't remember any of the plot, but I do remember like a few random like scenes.
Velma in a latex leather orange jumpsuit. Yes,
but it's not good. It's not a good movie.
No.
Seth Green.
He's terrible.
What other guy from Family Guy did you think I was talking about? Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck?
That would be crazy.
Isn't he a little old?
Can you imagine?
He's kind of ugly too.
I'd kind of ship that actually.
Oh my god.
He's a good looking dude.
I just said he was ugly. But I also think that Seth Green is also ugly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Green. Not my type. Let's put
Final
it that way.
thoughts. I really like the first like half-ish of this movie.
Then it kind of explodes.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like there are some fun scenes afterward, and I like some of the resolutions, but there's just a little bit too much action, a little bit too loosey-goosey for me, and I hate Scrappy-Doo.
Oh my god.
I hate him.
So much.
I hate him. I hate every moment that he's on screen. He makes me wildly uncomfortable. I don't know how he's related to Scooby-Doo, and it freaks me out.
She said, is he Scooby's child? I said, put that back in your mouth.
Do they just happen to have the same surname? They're not related at all?
I mean, Melvin do.
I think you're
Was
putting
also.
You're right.
I think you're putting too much weight on the fact that they have surnames.
But, like, why? Okay, so how many talking crime-fighting dogs are there in the world? And there's two of them, and they are the same breed.
Scrappy-Doo is not fighting any crime, he's causing the crime.
Okay, how many sentient English-speaking dogs are there in the world?
At least 2.
And they have the same last name.
Similar-looking breed, and they have the same last name, and they both, and, like, why is he even in their vicinity? Why did they even invite him into the van?
Is it just a coincidence? I mean, Doo is not...
I want a
prequel! Like, is it just a It's not like you had 2 people in your group who both have the last name of Smith. Like... You know?
Where did they find Scrappy-Doo and why is he such a terrible dog?
He's the worst.
He's terrible.
And like
Why is he such a dick?
in his like Hulk form, he's
Oh my god, he's
upsetting.
disgusting.
Yeah,
He's
really
upsetting to look at.
Yes, I agree.
Not scary. Gross.
Yeah.
He's not scary. He's fucking nasty.
I was trying to remember, like, a good term for, like, describing the type of character that he is, and then I remembered that the term I was thinking of is the Scrappy, which is named after Scrappy-Doo.
Oh.
So, basically what I'm saying is, Scrappy-Doo
Is
created a trope
Oh my god.
Character archetype.
called the Scrappy.
Wow.
It's so obnoxious.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yes.
Scrappy. Scrappy has a name.
Yes.
Scrappy is a word.
Yeah, it's separate from, like, what we think of Scrappy as, like, a good thing of, like, you know, young, scrappy, and hungry.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's different. Totally different from that.
Okay.
The Scrappy just means, like, a character, usually a child or something small, like some sort of, like, what do they call that? Sidekick, who is added, seems like it's intended for the audience to like them, and the audience hates them.
Oh. Okay.
That's a very loose definition that's probably not right.
Okay. Yeah.
From
Okay.
what I recall of TVTropes.com.
I don't think anyone was supposed to like Scrappy-Doo.
Not in this.
Okay.
But I think
he was in other things.
Yeah, I think the intent is that, like, they know that people don't like Scrappy-Doo from the things he was originally shown in, and so then he became a villain because he's so obnoxious, which is why they changed it from him being a puppy to being, like, an adult dog with
a
a
glandular problem?
issue. Yeah, because I would think originally he is a puppy, but, like, you can't make a puppy your villain because he's trying to kill people.
He's just a tiny little puppy. Actually, he's a piece of shit. He's upsetting to look at.
I mean, anyone who uses the word scrote.
Yeah, yeah.
In any context ever needs to just go to jail.
Do you think that they couldn't get balls past the censor, so they changed
Probably.
it to scrote?
Probably. Doesn't Fred refer to them as beans? In
Yes.
Yes!
Like one scene later?
Yes, he does.
Oh my
He
god.
says, cleaning your beans.
Oh my
I
god.
like a dinner.
And it took me a minute. I was like, what's that? Oh, no! And then
Nasty.
Scooby just laughs.
Yeah.
Gross.
Makes a weird fucking face.
It's weird what they can get away with because it's a dog.
Because they're dogs, yeah.
Yeah, CGI dog.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Oh.
Improper.
Impossible.
Anyway, other than, like, the glaring plot holes and racism, you know, it's a fun watch.
Yeah. Good watch.
It's definitely a watch.
You have to watch it to consume it.
That is true. I mean, you could just listen to it, but I don't know what the point of that would be.
Well, if you're sight impaired.
You can read it. I found the script.
Right. Yes.
If you're hearing impaired and you just don't want to just like watch it.
Can you imagine? Wait, just watch it with the subtitles.
Well, yeah, you could do that. But why waste your time?
Imagine trying to, like, you're hearing impaired and you're reading the script and just, like...
What the fuck? Imagine how
Scrote?
confusing it would be. Good God.
Scooby-Doo, y'all.
And scene.